Okay, so let me just start this video by saying, I know I should have thinned the radishes. I let them go too long, I let them stay too thick. They would have done much better if I had taken the time to thin them, but I didn't. So, this is what I got. Even though I let them stay in the ground a little too long and I didn't thin them out, they're fine for this recipe. And the few that I picked that were just woody and really didn't turn out well didn't get wasted. They were given to the chickens and they were very happy about it. They turned out a little bit spicier, but I kind of like that. And the greens can also be used to saute or to make your own pesto, but I just didn't have time to do it. So the greens went to our hogs and they were happy about that too. Okay, so I have more radishes in the sink rinsing, but I went ahead and got a bowl over here and we are going to make fermented radishes. The large ones I'm going to slice thinly, the small ones I'm just going to leave whole. And what I have here is I have 4 cups of water that I heated on the stove. Didn't bring it to a boil, but I heated it enough that it will dissolve sea salt. So I have about 2.5 tablespoons of sea salt. I'm going to go ahead and pour that in and let that be dissolving while I am doing my chopping. Just warm enough to dissolve it. Okay, and for the spices, I am going to use a bay leaf. And I'm going to put all of my spices in the bottom of a quart jar. And I may end up making more than a quart. I'm not exactly good at measuring things or eyeballing amounts. So this is dill weed. I'll do about a half a teaspoon of that. And then I have a teaspoon of mustard seeds. And they're going to go in the bottom too. Okay. Now, let's get to chopping. Okay, so I have a quart jar filled. I'm going to leave about 1 inch of space at the top. I have a little scrap pile going. There were a few that were just got too big and weren't that good, or a couple had spots in them. And so there's scraps for the chickens and pigs. And then I'm going to do another jar with just the tiny ones. But for the purposes of this, have my quart jar ready. I am going to pour in. I need to give this a little stir. Okay. Pour in that brine without spilling it everywhere. Maybe. Okay. And it actually didn't use all 4 cups, so I'm going to have enough left over to do a little jar of the tender ones. And that's still not going to use all that I planted this year, so I love to roast radishes with potatoes, or use them, I'll roast them in the morning and serve them with my eggs. And this time of year I love serving chive flowers, chive blossoms on top of my eggs. Year of Plenty is a small, family-owned business based in Pennsylvania, offering quality products to those of us who like to live a more self-reliant lifestyle and need the tools to preserve our harvest. Alright, so we have our radishes in the jar, we have our brine on top. Now I'm going to use this nifty little glass weight that I have. Before I purchased these, I actually just put in a cabbage leaf and then had a rock that I had cleaned off, and I used that to weight down my ferments. So I'm just going to put this on top, and it's going to help to make sure that all of the radishes stay underneath the brine. And then I'm going to put on an airtight lid, and because I'm putting on a lid, I will have to burp this every day, but in a couple of days they'll be ready to eat. You can leave them for a couple days longer depending on what kind of flavor you like. Once they reach the desired flavor and consistency, however crunchy you want them to stay, you just take the weight out, put the lid back on, and put them in the refrigerator. These are going to be great served on tacos. We love to eat tacos, especially in the summertime when we have so much stuff coming out of the garden. They're also actually really great on chili. So fermented foods are something that we try to incorporate into our diets, and this is going to be a nice way to add another element of that, because fermented foods are so good for your gut health.
Summer is just around the corner, which means that the garden will be bursting with foods that need to be preserved. If you're interested in trying your hand at fermenting, then be sure to visit the link in the description of this video and enter the code HOMEGROWN for 10% off your order with the Year of Plenty.